we're going to highlight some of the details that are Trofeo specific. And down on the front, we have a lower carbon fiber chin spoiler. On the front hood, we have air extraction vents. You can see here, nicely sculpted in. On the side, we have Trofeo specific portholes with the Trofeo badge. We have carbon fiber mirror caps on both sides. We also have a carbon fiber B-pillar section, which is really nice. And you have the trident colors here. Now, also on the Trofeo, these are 21-inch Trofeo specific wheels, and it has a satin red anodized finish on the Brembo 6-piston calipers. Has a dual cast cross drill rotor. It's pretty much similar on all of these cars. And we also get the carbon fiber door handles, front and rear. You have also the little hash mark here going through there that symbolize the Trofeo. And wrapping around the back, we have a carbon fiber little ducktail spoiler and even a carbon fiber lower diffuser panel. We got quad exhaust tips in a matte black finish, and that pretty much wraps up the entire exterior of the Trofeo and little design cues that they separated from a standard Ghibli. Now inside the car, we'll show you the inside. So we have some carbon fiber trim, black and red interior. We have this specific Trofeo stitch pattern with the embossed headrest. I'm just going to give you a little wrap around the interior. And like I said, we're not going to talk about the tech. We're not going to talk about the carryover of the switches. We really want to talk about the design and the uniqueness of this car, and specifically how it drives, because that's what I'm here for. Okay, so the final detail that separates the Maserati Ghibli Trofeo is this right here. This is a 3.8 liter Ferrari bi-turbo V8. It makes 580 horsepower, 540 foot-pounds of torque. This car is rated to go 203 miles per hour, 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. So the car's a little bit heavy. So I just want to show you guys, it has some aluminum extrusions up here as far as the steel monocoque, but it does not have any bracing going back that I could see to the 8-pillar. So it also has a lower aluminum front subframe and a shear panel. And this is the heart of the beast right here. So if we take this off, this engine is the same style family of the engine from the Ferrari Roma and the F8 Tributo. So we're gonna get it out on the road and we're gonna talk about it. I wanna road test it, and I'm gonna compare this car to my Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. But like I said, it's a much bigger car, it's a heavier car. I think the type of buyer that's gonna buy this car really is very, very different because this is not a nimble, small, tossable car like the Giulia Quadrifoglio. So we're gonna get it out on the road. I'm gonna tell you all about it. We're gonna get some exhaust sounds, and we'll wrap up this video in a little bit. Guys, Auto Fanatic. So I'm finally in the Maserati Ghibli Trofeo. And the one thing I'm going to tell you guys, this is a luxury car. This is not a sports sedan where you can throw it around like a BMW M3 or like my Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. So, I think the buyer of this car is going to be someone like that goes and shops maybe like an S63 or a BMW M6 Grand Coupe or something like that. I just think that's the category of this car. And like I said, it's spacious, it's roomy, it's heavy, but we got the Ferrari bi-turbo V8 under the hood. And I'm just getting a feel for the car now. And like I said, it handles nicely. It's not nimble, it's not sure-footed, but like I said, this is a really, really nice luxury, high-performance sedan. It kind of floats and kind of goes into these corners. And we're going to put it into sport mode in a minute. We're just getting the car warmed up. Okay, we're going to go into Corsa mode. Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah, this thing's got good power. But the power delivery is very different. It's very linear, and it's not like snapping you back like other cars that you would get into, the smaller cars, lighter cars. So that's the big difference. We have the ZF 8-speed automatic, same gearbox that Alfa Romeo is using and BMW and a lot of other manufacturers, but everybody programs the shift algorithms a little bit differently. But yeah, I feel like I'm in an S-Class. I feel like I'm in an S63 right now, just the Maserati version of it. Yeah, you got some body lean. But yeah, it's definitely a big car, a heavy car. And like when the Ghibli came out, about 7 years ago, I was really interested in it because I was like, oh, this car might be really what I wanted. And it was never that edgy, raw, high performance, little sedan that I wanted. This is more luxury. But I feel the back of the suspension, it just squats and it pulls you through the corner. The car is so luxurious that in the cabin, you don't really hear a lot of that exhaust note. I mean, it does sound good. It sounds better outside the car. But I don't have the surefootedness in this that I do in any of my cars. But it was definitely fun to have the opportunity to drive this, and I wanted to thank Alfa Romeo and Maserati of White Plains to have us come up here and shoot this video. I don't think I would drive this car in any other mode but Corsa mode. But yeah, this is a nice cruiser. Good looking car, good interior. Seats are great. They're not like a carbon fiber fixed back bucket, but they're not bad. Gotta watch these potholes with 21-inch low-profile tires. But I tell you, the ride quality is pretty good. Surprisingly, this is the most aggressive mode that this car offers. But I don't feel like in the cabin, I don't feel like the car is wrapping around me. I feel like I'm out of place here. I feel like I'm sitting in, an S-Class or just a much larger car. Yeah, the gearbox is good. Definitely good. It's not as aggressive as the programming in the Alfa Quadrifoglio, but like I said, I really think that this car, its target audience is completely different than an M3, a Quadrifoglio, like an RS5 Audi or anything like that, AMG C63S. I think that this car is in a completely different category and a different type of buyer. The buyer that's buying this is not going to want to romp through sharp transitions on a twisty road or go to the track with it. This is just not the DNA of this particular car. Yeah, I mean, it's got that passing power. My God. That is the Ferrari 3.8 liter V8 that they put inside this chassis. So I'm going to take it on this road up here. And I did a POV video in my Giulia a couple of weeks back. And I just kind of want to see what this car is going to feel like on something like a very aggressive road that's going to require a lot of attention and inputs, very sharp inputs. Okay, so the snow melted. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, this back end gets tail happy. Oh, I gotta watch, there's some ice on this road. Some ice patches. Yeah, I don't have the confidence pushing this thing, but I don't really think the owners of these cars are going to be doing that. I wish it was louder in the cabin, personally. All right, so I just realized that in order to get into true Corsa mode, you got to take this button and hold it. So that's where the icons start to light up yellow, just like the Alfa Romeo. And it definitely has more power. And the gearbox is much more responsive. And now we're getting into a zone. Now it feels much better in this mode. So now for a big car, she can definitely dance a little bit better. But it's still not sharp enough to do like real crazy transitions. It's just not designed like that. Let's get back on the highway. So almost done with my test drive today of the Maserati Ghibli Trofeo. I'm going to pull over in a couple of moments and I'm going to give you guys a conclusion and my final thoughts on what I think of this car overall. But definitely was cool to come and drive it today and definitely experience it and compare and contrast to so many other vehicles that I get to drive regularly through work. And see, on this road, it feels good. And you got to get into that main Corsa mode and put everything in full stiff. Because like I said, it's a big car. It's a luxury high performance car. So it's not, you got to kind of get used to the settings and set the car up for the weight on how to balance everything. All right, guys, that's the conclusion of my Maserati Ghibli Trofeo review. My conclusion is this is a luxury, high-performance sedan. This is not a sports sedan. I don't consider it a super sedan, but it's a very unique car because it feels like a Mercedes-Benz S-Class, a BMW 7 Series. Even though it's not the Quattroporte, it still feels like a much larger, more upscale luxury car. And like I said, with the double pane glass, the massive amount of sound insulation in the cabin, it's a very, very nice place to be. Beautiful styling, Ferrari V8 under the hood. The car is very, very unique. So like I said, the buyer of this car is gonna be someone that's shopping possibly for like an S63, maybe an RS7 or RS6 Audi, an E63S, something like that. I don't see the buyer of the M3, an RS4, or the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio stepping into the dealership wanting to get this car. I just think it's a totally different category of car, much heavier, much more luxurious. It's not as raw and engaging as a car that I would like, and that's why it was really a good experience because, you know, back in the days, I worked on a lot of the Maseratis. When they first came back to the United States, you know, they came back with what they call the Cambio Corsa Coupe in 2001. Then a few years later, they came out with the Quattroporte, and I absolutely loved those cars because they had the single disc F1 style clutch. It was, you know, raw. It had a, you know, that 4.2 liter naturally aspirated V8. And it was just a very raw analog car for its time. The problem is a lot of buyers for the Maserati brand, you know, they weren't selling a lot of cars back then. And then I believe it was around 2006, they took away that F1 Cambio Corsa gearbox. Then they threw in a ZF 6-speed automatic. Then they released the Gran Turismo. And the image of Maserati went more of that raw, sporty nature, and it went more upscale into luxury. And then they started really expanding the brand and selling a lot more cars in the United States. And like I said, it was a smart decision for them. And now we have Alfa Romeo that came back to the United States a couple of years ago, and with their Quadrifoglio variants, I mean, those are the cars that really throw back. And I said it, if you guys watch any of my Alfa Romeo videos, those are the cars that throw back to the earlier Maseratis. And I mentioned that in my very first Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio video. You know, the Quattroporte and that they call it the 4200 Cambio Corsa Coupe and the Spider and the Grand Sports. You know, those cars are very, very unique. I absolutely love them. And like I said, Maserati completely shifted its brand image, and you can't really blame them because the buyers that are going into the dealerships now, they want luxury, they want upscale, they want a smoother ride, a quieter cabin, and that's really what this Maserati Ghibli Trofeo is. It's an awesome car, gorgeous, very, very unique. So if you guys really are interested in something like this and you're shopping for an upscale, very niche product, this is the car you're gonna pretty much wanna check out, because the Alfa Romeo stuff, it's not gonna appeal to you unless you wanna go even further upscale. Then you could go into like a Ferrari, you know, Lusso or something like that. But to be honest with you, you know, this definitely is in its own category. It's definitely in its own market share. And I think it's a really cool car. And I think someone out there that wants a little bit of both and wants that image, wants something unique, wants the Italian style and a Ferrari V8 under the hood, there really is no other car in the market except the Maserati Ghibli Trofeo. So I wanted to thank everyone for coming along for the ride. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to the Auto Fanatic channel and stay tuned for more automotive content. And I will see you guys on the next car review video real soon. Take care, guys.